now, and today's topic we'll talk about AFR feature in ProFile. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about is what is AFR, and that is it's a secure CRA service. Just allows the authorized representative to electronically request and receive certain tax information to fill in parts of the client's income tax and benefit return. Within ProFile, there's both the single and multiple individual T1 returns. I'm going to go through both steps. We'll start out with the single, and then towards the end, I'll do the multiple individual T1 returns. Very similar between the two. It's just with the multiple, you'll be using the database. Okay. So import data for single individual T1 returns. Important notes, the taxpayer must have a valid authorization from the taxpayer to access the represent a client. So to do this, you would access the represent a client website, and to get authorization, there's two ways you can do this. You can go into the CRA's My Account, log in there, and request that a taxpayer enter the rep ID to authorize the taxpayer as an individual, a group ID to authorize a group of representatives, or business or BN to authorize all employees of a business. And the second step is through ProFile. There's actually a T1013 form which you can fill out, get it signed by your client, and then once it's signed, you can file it through ProFile. And I'll show you how to do that in one of the slides. So before the 1013 can be filed, a tax preparer must register a business number with represent a client service with CRA. Okay, so on this form, this is the 1013, the section where there's part 2, of course, you would have to make sure that your information matches from what CRA has. So all information must match what the CRA has on file. The return does not have to be completed before transmitting the 1013. Okay, in ProFile, once you have the return open, you can go under e-file and then e-file the 1013 for this taxpayer. Just remember that you have to get it printed, get your 1013 printed, and have your client sign the form. And when you're ready, you can select e-file the 1013 for this taxpayer. Once you have that available and you want to do your CRA import or your AFR, then in ProFile, you could either open or create a T1 return. Go to the File menu, and then you'll have the option for CRA data import. Again, it's under File, and then select CRA data option. Okay. Once you do that, ProFile will launch a window. So opens the CRA data import tool, which kind of looks like this. You would have to click on to launch CRA import website. So click the launch CRA import website button. This launches CRA's represent a client in a separate browser. And once you have that, you would just sign in with your user ID and your password. And then you would click on to log in, and then this would open up. The CRA data import window list. It'll list the clients whose social insurance number is available can be entered into the CRA website. So this example, it shows us this client's social insurance number. Once that is available, the next window would come up for autofill return request confirmation. You would select the client, of course, click on to next, and then this the button to provide confirmation. The CRA system process the request. A window like this will come up, and after you do that, it'll start to download the CRA data for you, and it's just going to give you a message that it's importing the data into ProFile. Okay. CRA's processing occurs simultaneously with the data import and profile. Users will also see the processing screen for CRA data import while it's working. Sorry, I was just taking a look at the question, see if there's anything that applies to this. Once you've done that once it's done the CRA data import, then you'll see that it's successfully connected. The message will display when the connection has been made between ProFile and CRA systems, and then the data import worksheet will be displayed, and you can take a look at the information by clicking on to the plus sign. You could also pick the client here if you have multiple clients that you're importing for. But once you click on the plus sign, next to each statement it will reveal the expanded view of the information, which displays more information. Kind of looks like this here. And then you get to pick what information you'd like to import. You can uncheck, check, and so on, whichever slip. Now the information that gets imported in, of course, if you've done it in the past, is stuff like your slips, your RSP contributions, any amounts that's been carried forward from prior year will show up in here, and you get to pick whether you want to import it into ProFile by checking or unchecking. And then your action 2, you could pick whether it's going to be new or it's going to be overriding the information that you have. Once you're ready with that, you just click on to import selected data, okay, and the data import complete message will show up. It'll show you the success, whether it's been successful, and then once you've verified that, you can press close and proceed on. Okay. So the data import completed message will come up. Again, you click on close. In ProFile, select the data to import by the individual boxes, or clicking select all for all the listed data types to be imported. Okay. To review the data that's been imported in ProFile, under the Auditor tab or the Auditor window, now you can get to the Auditor by either clicking on to the icon that looks like this here. It's a magnifying glass with a caution sign, or you can go through Audit and then press, I think it's Control F9, it'll bring up this window here. Then you'll see a tab that says Data Import, and that will show you the information that's been imported into ProFile for that particular client. Okay. So the data imported in the return itself, the information will come up as purple. So if you ever see in a form some data that's coming up in purple text, that means it's information that's been imported in from CRA. All right. Now we'll talk about the multiple individual T1 returns, but before I proceed, let's see if we have any questions that I can answer when it comes to the single returns. It looks like Zob has a question: what if the tax preparer does not have a business number, as you can access rep client without a business number? Whatever information you have available, you can use that, Zob, and you just indicated on the 1013 whatever information you'll be using. Margaret has a question: once a 1013 is signed by the client, does it have to be imported into into ProFile? Nope, you just keep the signed copy for yourself, and then you would go into ProFile, and then you would just e-file the 1013 for the taxpayer. Okay, Margaret. Once you get your company sign-in ID and you can fill it out, yes. The 1013A. Alexandra, I'm not sure what you're asking. If you could just reiterate, I can come back to that. It's for Steve. After the 1013 has been submitted to ProFile through ProFile, it is immediate. Okay, Mohammed, as soon as you send in that 1013, it's pretty instantaneous. Margaret, will the download overwrite or duplicate a manual entry that has been made? We've added to, let me go back to that sheet here where you're able to, in here, if you've already inputted the information, then you can unselect. If you verified that the information is the same as what you've inputted already, you can unselect it here. That way it doesn't double up or overwrite the information that you've already inputted. Okay, Margaret? There is no delay, Jim, as I mentioned, for the other individuals. What is the process for revenue Quebec? For Quebec, the steps are pretty much the same. It's very similar, and you would just in ProFile, instead of using the CRA data import, let me just bring up ProFile here. There's an option for file import RQ data, and that would be the same steps as you would have your information inputted for like your Quebec number for net filing and so on, and social insurance number. Make sure that that's inputted, and then you'll be able to import the information for that client for the Quebec side. Okay, hopefully that answers your question, Millie. All right. Correct, Sarah. You just unselect the ones that you've already inputted. That way, if you already inputted the same information, you can unselect it. All right. So I will continue from there, and I'll answer the questions towards the end. Let me stop at Sarah's question, and then I'll start with Akbir's question towards the end of the webinar. Okay. For the multiple, basically it's a lot of the same steps, but you would process picking the clients differently. The one that I showed you was for a single individual. When you're dealing with multiple individual T1 returns and you want to import the data, you would have to use Client Explorer. So you would open up ProFile. After you've opened ProFile, you would use Client Explorer. Excuse me. If you haven't turned on Client Explorer, the option is under Options, Database, and then you would just click on your Client Explorer. Now there's a great how-to video on how to activate your database. Please look for that. So basically you'd be turning on your Client Explorer, and then you would index your files, and once you index your files, you can use your Client Explorer to do your batch filing, okay, or batch CRA data import. Okay. So once your Client Explorer is turned on, you can go to the Go-To menu or press F3, and the Client Explorer will come up. Okay. Once you're in Client Explorer, you'd select Filter, and you would filter out the 2016 returns. Just remember that that you'd have to filter out according to 1 year and 1 module. to filter out your returns. And then once you filter out your 26 returns, you can apply the filter. So you would deselect FX, T3, T2, keep T1 selected, and then unselect your other years. Let me show you actually in ProFile, that way I can show you live what it looks like. So let me just turn on the Client Explorer here. I'll go to Client Explorer. So filter, deselect your other modules, and then if you want to pick the year, in this case 2016, I would right click and clear all, and then just select 2016. That way it's only my 2016 returns that I can apply this to, and then here's my returns. I'll do a select all and then select CRA import, okay, which is this option here. And I have the steps in the the steps here. On the left-hand side of the Client Explorer under Actions, select CRA import option. Up to maximum of 10 clients can be selected. So select 10 clients for now, and then do your import, your CRA data import. Now that window under the Actions, let me just bring up ProFile so I can show you exactly what that looks like. It's this section here. Okay. Under the Details window, there's Actions, and then here's the CRA data import, or CRA import. Okay. And that's this window here. And then once you select that, a window like this will open up where you're able to, and you've seen this for the individual, you click on Launch CRA Import Website, and then once that comes up, you can do the, you'd have to log in. Okay, let me just see if the login comes up, sorry. Okay, ProFile opens the CRA data import window, and then you would launch the CRA import website by clicking on to CRA import website. Select the clients, click on Next. That would provide the confirmation, and then CRA starts the system by autofilling the return. Just remember, I think there's a step there that once you do the ProFile CRA data import, you will get a window where you'll have to log in with your CRA credentials. Just make sure you do that, and then once you do that, it will give you this window here where you select the clients. Okay. Go. Oh, there you are. So you would log into the CRA login using your ID and password, and then now you get to select the clients. Just confirm that you are importing the data for these particular clients, and then once you do that, it will list, and then you'll start downloading the CRA data. Once that is successful, then you'll get this window here that it's connected successfully with ProFile and CRA, and then you can proceed to the next. So you'll get the worksheet again. You import the selected data. You could also look at the information by selecting the plus sign, and then you'll get more data like this. And then again, you would select whatever information that you want to import in for that client. Okay. Just make sure you review the data and the forms to be inputted or imported, and if it's correct, then you can just use the Import Selected Data button, which is right here. Okay. Okay, it would import. You'll get a window where it's going to say that the import is completed. You can click on Close, and then you can proceed to the next window. Just as a next step in ProFile, make sure you select the data to import by selecting the individual boxes or clicking Select All for all the listed data types to be imported. And then once you do that, click Accept CRA Data. This will autofill data into the taxpayer's return. And just remember that to check it, to review the data imported in, you'll see it under the data import in the auditor, and again it comes up as purple. Okay. And for more details on importing the government information into return, do a search under ProFile Help for import government data into a T1 return. Let me bring up ProFile and show you where that is. So under Help, ProFile Help, you can do a search for import government data. Make sure you spell government right. And let's see if we have, there you go. And there's more information on, there's some great information here that goes a lot more in detail, and you can review this by going into ProFile Help. Okay. We also have an article for it, or if you want to, you can review this video. A lot of the steps that I've mentioned here are from that article or that information in ProFile Help. Okay. All right, this is our support page or support number. You could also contact us by chat or email, and then the profile support page is also linked in here. Like I do from the other prior webinars, I can retrieve your emails and then I can send you the deck of this webinar. That way you have the step-by-step and you have some visual references when you're doing the import or the AFR. Okay, so let's take some time to answer some of your questions here. I promised that I would spend some time and start with Akbir's question. Yes, Akbir, so question is, first you need to e-file 1013 before importing the data. That is correct. For the 1013, that is correct. You'd have to indicate on the 1013 whether it's going to be multiple years. So let me just bring up that return here and go to the 1013. You have a section where you can indicate the level of authorization, taxation year. Okay, you could specify the level 1 or 2, and you can indicate in here whether it's all tax years, past, present, or future. Okay, so that's a good section to take a look at when you want to indicate for other years. Okay. And that was a great question coming from James. The CRA import, is it mandatory for each individual? It comes in handy if you want to import the information and you want to make sure that it's accurate information because it's coming straight from CRA. If you trust the slips coming in from your clients, then go ahead and proceed with that. But for accuracy and it's for convenience too, you could use the CRA data import SUMRET. VJ, if you don't get the 1013 signed, you may be asked by CRA to provide a copy of a signed copy of the 1013. If you do it after you filed it, you will get a draft across that form, and it won't be acceptable by CRA. So just make sure you get it signed first. Print it out, get it signed, and then once it's signed, send it out to CRA. That's a great question because that was something that a lot of our clients were going through last year. Charmaine, I believe you can. So the question was, are we able to download working copies of T3s and T5s? If it's available on the CRA website, then you can. Surrender, if your client already had the information slips that you need for autofill. Correct. Surrender, if you already have the information and you verify that that information is correct when you do the CRA data import or the AFR, then you don't have to re-input it. Hazel, if you've completed and sent the 1013 a few years ago, should it work? If nothing's changed and you're still representing that client, it shouldn't change. If you need confirmation, just make sure that you reach out to CRA and see if that 1013 or represent a client still is applicable for you as a representative for your client. Carry forward loss, I believe, Greg, that is one of the ones that gets imported in. Donna, yes, this was autofill, so autofill the return using the AFR. If that's what you were looking for, then we went through that. If you made it through the last part where you weren't able to see the step-by-step, then look out for the email that I'll send out. I'll send out the deck, and also recording of this webinar will be posted on our YouTube page and also our support page. Correct, VJ. This is the 1013 is to represent the client. Okay. Looks like a lot of the questions are the same. Let me see if I start from the end here and then work myself up. I'll give another 5-10 minutes for questioning. Uh, 1135. If you guys are interested, just a quick one on that one for the T1135. This is something that's tied to the foreign income. You indicate no on the information page, and you still get an auditor message. Just sign off on that for now. We're aware of that. In the next release, we're going to make sure that we work on a fix for the next release. Okay, great question, Elias. It doesn't apply to, but I just wanted to mention that. That way, everyone is aware of it. Sandria, it's going to be posted on the YouTube page. When I send out the email, I'll make sure that I put the link to the YouTube page on that email that I send out for the deck. Okay. Susan, do you need to keep the slips provided? You can keep a copy just in case. Jolene, last year CRA, many errors on the import unless they have improved. Double check everything. I would suggest that, and especially when you get to that section where you see all the information and then you can see more details, do a comparison to what you have and what you've retrieved from your client, and then you can have the accuracy, Jolene, for that. Akbar, can we delete the 101135 form instead of sign off? The error will still be in the auditor. You can clear the T1135, but I believe the error will still show, so just sign off on the error in the auditor. Let me see, Christine. Is there a way to print if we do happen to forget, have it signed before, have it? There isn't, as soon as you send it out, Christine, for the 1013, it will automatically go into draft form. If you haven't sent it out, you could print it off, get it signed by your client. Okay, so just remember the steps. Make sure you do get it printed out and signed first. That way you avoid having that draft on the form. Samrat, yes, I would suggest 1013, print it out and e-file it after. Mamet, yes. So the question was, the ID and password will remain the same as e-file ID and password for CRA website. It does remain the same. So when you input that data under your e-file, set e-file password, this remains the same. Okay, it's also under the e-file options under the e-file internet here. Okay, and just as a quick note, the online password is case sensitive. Make sure if it's cap, put caps. If it's numbers, take off the shift and cap locks. Great. It looks like people are looking for the actual slides. I will send that to you. I will retrieve your emails. I can run a report and retrieve your emails, so you don't have to indicate it here. I usually send it out towards the end of the day. Just expect that to be sent out either this evening or early tomorrow morning. Okay. How to apply Rep ID? Santomi, that's a great question. Let me show you where that is. Let me close this here. Under the options menu, you have the environment, and then under your prepare tab, there's a section where you could put a Rep ID for 1013 or a group ID or a business number, and this is where you would input it. And when you do that AFR, it will retrieve this information and make sure that this is matching up with what CRA has provided. Okay, great question. Okay. All right, let me see if there's any other last questions I can answer. I'm going to take two more, and then can you email a fileable 1013 and have it signed by a client who lives in another province? I think you can get what I would suggest is maybe sending out a PDF, getting it signed by the client, having them print it out, scanning that signed copy and sending it back to you. Okay, I think it's possible, but please just verify with CRA what the proper steps or the best practices for this is, because we'd have to go and adhere to the CRA rules in accordance to the 1013. Joanne, yes. The question was, can you do a second download if not all slips were listed in the first time? So you would do the actual. You would actually do the import again. You'd go through the same steps, and then whatever you've imported first, the first time, you can uncheck, and then anything that you want to import in that was missing the first time, then keep it checked, and then that way you can fill in additional information. Great question, Joanne. Stephanie, first question, can you autofill can you autofill a locked return? Good idea to unlock it first. Will autofill override information carry forward from the previous year or a field with any info already inputted? Excuse me. What I would suggest, Stephanie, for that one is just doing comparison so that you're not getting the override amounts. Just do a comparison between what you have already inputted or carry forward, and then what is coming from the AFR or the CRA imports. Okay. Yeah, Elias, good suggestion. Just be careful with the duplication for second AFR. So that's the step where you would just make sure that you take a look at the information that you're importing in, and one, for accuracy, and two, that you're not going to be doubling up the amounts in your return. Okay. Connie, can you attach a signed 1013 into ProFile and have it go to CRA when you select? You won't be able to do that, an attach signed. It's not necessary. You would just keep a signed copy for your records in case CRA does request for it, but it's good enough for you to go through ProFile and go e-file the 1013 for this taxpayer. Okay, great question, Connie. Just make sure you keep a copy available for you. All right. Sandria, just make sure that you're going to just going through the information. That way you're not doing the double download. Okay. There's a way. So in this year's selection, let me just go to find that window here where it actually gives you the option to, right here in this data import worksheet, you can select by unchecking or checking each one, whichever information you want to import in. If you want to import in, then have a check mark. If you don't, then uncheck it. And then the action, I believe with this action, you can add it as a new, or I think there's an option for overriding. But when you get to this window, just do the drop down and then select whatever information, how you want to import the information. Okay. All right. Okay, I think that's most of the questions that I can ask for today. Just remember that I've recorded this webinar. I'll have it available on our YouTube page in the next few days. I will send out the deck. I'll try to get to sending out the deck, retrieving your email, sending out the deck towards the end of the evening. If you don't see it this evening, then please look out for it tomorrow morning. And then just look out for the link to our support page. Just want to mention too that once the webinar is done, you may receive a survey. In that survey, please reach out to us. Let us know how we're doing, and also let us know if there's any topics that you're interested in. And that way we can take a note for future webinars, the demand for a particular topic, and then we can include that in our calendars. Okay. On behalf of ProFile, I just want to say that I'm thankful for your attendance, and I just want to make sure that we cover the topics that you are always interested in by the surveys. And I want to wish everyone a great season for the tax season. Please look out for future webinars on our support page on the page where we have the calendars, and it lists the topics for every Thursday. Just also look out for any other webinars that we may have on another day that may help you with trending issues. So just like we did for Monday, we had a February 20th webinar to start the e-file season. Okay, great. Thank you again, and have a great tax season.